Hey folks, it's Arthur, but my friends call me Archie. This podcast is sponsored by you. If you have a more personal situation you want me to go in-depth commentary on, send me an email. Thanks to those who keep this channel going. Let's get right into it. Okay, so we have today a letter from H. He says, "This is about my ex J." So many letters there. H, X, J. Okay. In the letter, he says, "After our breakup, Jay and I unfollowed each other on social media to give ourselves space. But lately, I've been getting notifications that someone has viewed my Instagram stories who isn't on my followers list. I can't help but wonder if it's Jessica. We used to share a lot on social media. She and she was always very curious about what I was up to. Now that I'm trying to move on, it feels like she might be checking in on me. What should I do? I don't want to overthink this." Wow, what a great question here, okay? So inevitably, yeah, there's definitely some overthinking that always happens in this situation, I'm sure. So here is H, right? And he's trying to move on. They've gone out through a breakup and he's trying to move on now. Putting some space, they've talked about it. And now he goes probably on dates, he's meeting more people, he's being social, and all of a sudden his ex, he's wondering, is she checking up on my profile? Does she miss me? Does she still have feelings for me? You know, it's going from, making some assumptions of maybe what might be happening, what is the other person thinking about. And so we can really let our fantasies kind of take control of this time. But let's answer maybe some basic questions, right? Does your ex look at your profile? Most likely, yes. Yeah, most likely, yes. There was a study, you guys might have to fact check me on this, but there was a study years ago, I think, that was, do couples check on their exes after they're in marriage? And the majority of people answered the survey said yes, that they check on each other, that they check on their exes, that they don't message them, but they just check their profile. They just check how to see what they're doing. I bet if you ask your friends, they'll tell you that they've done it too. It's such a common thing to, just keep tabs and to check up on old flames. I think you miss them. You want to see how they're doing. You don't necessarily always want to get into a relationship with them again, but you do want to kind of peek into their life and see what might be happening into their life. I think a major reason why people do this is because, it's hard to let someone go. It's hard to have someone that was such a big part of your life now run away with someone else or live a life separate than what is on your own. I think that part of this is part of the reason that people don't just die, Once you break up with someone, the person doesn't just die. They stay. Even if they're dead, they stay. They remain living in your imagination and in all of our imagination, what might have happened to them and what even is happening to them in the afterlife. You'll notice that a person, at least in our consciousness, doesn't ever really die. They continue to live on and they continue to feel things for you and you feel things for them. And I think it's partly because this experience that we have in life is such a subjective experience, People are always changing. For example, if you had a parent that passed away, your experience with them up until that moment that they passed away is one, but then you continue to have experiences with them even after they have passed. You look at old photos, or you relive old memories, or you hear stories from relatives, and all of a sudden you have a different perspective and a different relationship with this person. If you have a person that you felt so close to and you have one idea of them and then they go away, after a while you could start to develop another idea of them, and they, at least within your consciousness or my consciousness, become like a different person. I think this is how people are able to move on sometimes from relationships, that they were so in love with them and they cared about them so much. And then as they're gone, they start to re-identify them and reinvent them to be a person that was rude or had some large faults or something like this. And they reinvent them, reimagine their partner because they need to see him that way for a reason, you know? And so there are two questions that H is really asking here. It is, what should I think about this? What should I do about this? And, does she still have feelings for me? I think is a major question that he's asking here as well. Probably not explicitly, but implicitly. And so the question is, do you ever really lose feelings for a person, right? The answer is probably not. I think in some neuroscience studies they've discovered recently that the feeling from hate and love is not so different. These are big emotions and they are connected. They maybe are two sides of the same coin. And these emotions are connected, and I think the opposite of hate and the opposite of love is probably more like apathy, right? Imagine the opposite of waves, right? If the wave at its peak going up is love and the wave on its peak going, or like on its valley going low, is hate, then the opposite of those two is stillness and calm water. And that is a bit what apathy is. It's no movement, it's no feeling, is the opposite of these great big feelings that we might have. And so, do we ever really lose these feelings? We might be able to, have apathy for a person. You've heard people say like, you're dead to me or something like this. And these words, what they are truly communicating is like, you no longer play a pivotal part of my life. Whether you live or not, or you breathe or don't, or whatever, this is of no avail to me. And I think part of this has to do a lot with how people overcome their relationships. Everyone does it a bit differently. And this side of apathy is, I've talked to some patients that experience this, and let me know in the comments if you've ever gone through situations like this, that you are feeling apathy after a breakup, or you're feeling these very deep lows, or you feel like you have to change the person a bit and alter them to fit a bit more of who they need to be in order for you to get over the breakup. You'll hear a lot of people that when they gather with their friends, they'll say, I just went through a breakup, and the friends will be like, oh, they were no good anyway. They were, just a pile of trash anyway. You didn't need them in your life. And there's all these negative feelings that go towards it. And the question is why? Maybe the relationship just didn't work out and you both broke up on amicable terms. But there's this idea that you need to hate a person in order for you to get over them. And an ex is an ex, and there's this, very... I don't know. I don't know if this is so healthy or not, but I'd love to hear your comments about this situation. So H, to put it lightly, is she looking at your profile? Definitely. Should you do something about it? That's totally up to you. My friend, if you feel that this person is not just someone that you're attracted to, but someone that you genuinely feel that you could have a good relationship with, then it might be in your best interest to give it a chance and to look again what this relationship can offer you. And maybe it would be to your benefit as well to go on some dates and to explore other opportunities. And then, really in a calm, rational mindset, is this person a good person to me? And not just were they a good person? This is important too. Were they in their history a good person? But are they currently a good person? Evaluate how this person is treating you after your breakup. I think you can learn so much about a person by how they treat people that they're no longer in a relationship, right? If you are in a relationship with this person, then there's some benefit that you're receiving to being with this person, whether it's like affection or status or whatever it may be, right? There's some sort of mutual benefit that's happening. But if you're no longer in this relationship and there's, not so much of a sense that there would be a mutual benefit, then if this person still treats you charitably and kindly and is still amicable with you, then this might be a person that you would like to be with in the future, because it means that when you get in a fight with them or when you're arguing with them, they're not going to disrespect you, because that's just not the way that they are. Even when you have no reason to speak, they're still amicable and they're still respectful. I think this is a really good sign that this is a person that you want to be able to work things out with in the future. Could be. It's up to you, H. I'd love to hear more of your story. Yeah, if you want to send me a more detailed email, I think this would be really, I would love to give my commentary on this. So I really appreciate that, you. And yeah, for everyone else that's listening in, if you want to give your thoughts on this and your experience on, has your ex checked up on your profile and what was that like? Have you checked on your profile accidentally, double tapped on an old photo or something like that? I'd love to hear about those experiences as well in the comments. Thanks.